Hey y'all, how we doing? Hope we're doing well. So I don't know if you remember me or way back when I used to do Smoke Break with Erica stories. So I thought I'd tell a story today about what happened with me when I worked for a chain restaurant back in CT when I was living there. And so it was a busy Friday night. We closed at like 10 o'clock. At 9:59, this party of 20 cheerleaders comes into the building. Now, mind you, everybody already went home at this point. It was me, the host, and a waitress on. That's it. So at that point, now I had to play waitress. So now I'm helping her take orders, I'm helping her deliver drinks, I'm helping her deliver food, I'm helping her clear plates, on top of doing the host task, which is wiping down tables, resetting them, filling up the ice bins, filling up the cups, yada, yada, yada. So as I'm doing all of this, I help her with I help the waitress get the table all set up. Everything is good to go. Now, mind you, the manager leaves. So it's just me and the waitress on, and they want us to Z out the register and, not with managers eat it out, but she's like, make sure everything's cleared up and lock up when you leave. Basically to me and the other waitress. So we get our areas cleaned up, we make sure everything is good to go. At least I thought everything was good to go. So the next day I come in, and I'm in the process of, getting my day ready because I'm in the morning shift. So I'm getting ready, because I went home like 11 o'clock, so now I'm in at 9 in the morning to open for 10. So this manager calls me into her office. I go into her office. She's sitting there typing away her little computer. I'm like, what's up? I'm like, what's the problem? She's like, you forgot to do your task last night. I'm looking at her like, what fucking task are you talking about? I said, I did it all. So what are you talking about? She goes, you forgot to fill up the ice bins. I'm like, whoa, hold on 1 second here. I said, so you're not complaining that, I said, so you're complaining that I didn't fill up the ice bins. I said, weren't you aware that last night you sat at a table of 20 with one host and one freaking waitress on, and then you left us to clean up the mess and to lock up and to go home? Are you forgetting all of that? I said, I stocked up the cups. I did all the dishes. I did everything. So mind you, now on top of being the host, which was my job, was to wipe down tables, reset them, stock up the cups, stock up the ice bin for the bartender and, the waitresses. That's what my job title entails. Now, because she decided to go home, now I had to play dishwasher and I had to play waitress on top of doing my own tasks. So now I'm doing the work of 3 people on top of one, just to get the clarification here as to why I forgot to fill up the ice bins. So now I'm in the office and she's yelling at me about the ice bins, and I'm like, all right, well, had to do the dishes last night because you sent the dishwasher home, had to reset, had to help the waitress clear off because you sent all the other waitresses home, on top of bang, bang, bada, boom, all the stuff I had to do on top of it. As she's typing away her computer, she looks at me and said, well, if you don't start doing your job right, you're not going to have a job at all. Okay. This is where I was petty. I said, all right, bet. Now, I always had a resignation letter in the back of my pocket for this particular reason. So I said, here's my resignation, effective immediately. She bugged out. Her eyes bugged out, and she goes, what do you mean this is effective immediate? I said, yeah, this is my last night of work. Good luck finding somebody for tomorrow and the next week because I can see I remain on the roster for 6 days. She flipped shit. She's like, no, you have to give 2 weeks notice. I'm not taking this resignation. It needs to be 2 weeks notice. I looked at her, I said, no. I said, because you just fired a waiter last week without even giving him 2 weeks notice. I said, you fired him an hour into a shift and told me he had to go home, that he's no longer needed anymore. So if you can fire people without letting them have time to find another job, I can quit without freaking giving you notice. So at that point, I left. Next day, she texted me, where are you? Why aren't you here? Told her straight out. I said, because I quit. I said, I quit. I gave my 2 weeks. I already gave my resignation effective immediately. I said, I already got another job. I got hired yesterday. I'm good. I said, I'm already working. So now she's freaking out. She's like, well, I need you here. I need you here. I ain't got no host. I ain't got nobody to help the waitresses. I looked at her. I said, you're there, right? You're the manager? You can help her out, right? You're there. So now I hang up on her because now I'm getting ready for my other job. So now I have like 20 missed calls from this woman, harassing me, basically wanting me to come in. Still, I said, whatever, I'm not coming in. So now I'm getting text messages from the waitresses. We need you. Where are you at? I'm getting text messages from the cooks. Where are you? We need you. Where are you at? I'm getting text messages from all these freaking people. At that point, I'm like, find somebody else. I quit. So apparently what this person told everybody else, because apparently she didn't want to tell them the full story. She just told them that I did a no-call, no-show without telling them that I handed in my resignation effective immediately. So now she's going on telling this freaking lie, right? So now, 2 weeks later, she's calling me. Now, mind you, at that point, I'm done with that place. I already got another job. I'm making good money and tips. I'm okay. She calls me up and says, can you please come in? We are desperate. You're the best host. You're the best waitress we have. We need you back. I told her, I said, I'm not on the roster anymore, so I don't know how you're going to pay me when I'm not even on the schedule anymore. And she's like, I'll pay you under the table. I don't care. I just need you here. No, bitch, because now you're trying to get me in trouble. So at that point, I said, no, cancel that shit. Working my job. 3 weeks later, I get a notification that that particular chain shut down. All because of that manager. Because she couldn't keep her staff and she didn't know how to talk to people and she didn't know how to be a manager. So moral story is, if you're going to hire these freaking people to manage restaurants, make sure they have managed restaurant experience, like moi. Because let me tell you something, I would never run a restaurant that way. Just saying. So that's my story on how I said, screw this, I'm done. Because I'm not dealing with freaking managers who don't give a shit about you. And honestly, I'm not here to take that shit. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that story. That's all I really got for you today and how I freaking quit Ruby Tuesday. So, hope you guys enjoyed the story. Hopefully I'll upload another story later on. Have a good one. Bye.